Now, welcome very much to all of you here. It's a Bettery Hub night, and thank you so much for joining us for our Bettery Hub channel and our Bettery Hub Connections program, or today's LifeWorks program, your weekly dose of transformative business ideas and solutions, and of course, to bring you all the passionate people out here and to share about how they put their passion in action. Where and another thing is that for those of you guys who have been giving us consistent feedback all these weeks, and especially for the last 1 week, thank you so much for this feedback to allow us to do it better for you. Now, for those of you, as usual, you can actually watch this whole live chat live on our YouTube page, or you can actually see it live on our LinkedIn and our Facebook page. So if you're watching us live, do remember to press this small button called subscribe and join us for more information. And of course, Bettery Hub, we also have our podcast on Spotify for those of you who prefer, audio. So do remember to go to our Spotify and download our Bettery Hub podcast and stay tuned. And now for today, we have an awesome, trust me, we have an awesome guest today. In fact, I just had a chat with her before I came on live, and we were like laughing away the last 20 minutes because I think there's a lot of things. A lively lady. Now, before I talk about her, let me bring her up on the channel. Let me just give you a brief introduction about our speaker today. Now, she's Eileen Chai, a former athlete, in gymnastics, athletics, and springboard diving, a recipient of the Nanyang Outstanding Young Alumni Award, Singapore Olympics Academy Roll of Honor, Junior Chamber International 10 Outstanding Young Persons Singapore Merit Award. She still holds the record for being the youngest competitor at the Southeast Asian Games at age 7. I say again, 7. All right. And drawing her experience in sports, and including music and performing arts, she continues to perform. She's a violin player and a performer and a teacher as well. Now, she continues to perform and teach violin to inspire her students through the love of music. Now, Eileen has performed with Tayo Irvine Hendrix, the daughter of legendary guitarist Jimi Hendrix. Now, that's awesome, right? I mean, I love Jimi Hendrix, and then she has performed with the daughter, all right? And she has also played the violin at the opening ceremony of the BNP Paribas Women's Tennis Association finals at the Singapore Indoor Stadium, and many more. Trust me, the list can just go on and on. Now, without any delays, I'm going to bring you Eileen Chai. Hi, Eileen.
Hello, hi, good evening. Hi. Thank you for actually having me here on your Bettery Hub Lab. Yes.
It's our honor, we are Bettery Hub channel powered by Bettery Lab, so don't worry. So long there's a battery there, it's okay.
Okay.
Eileen, I got to start with this. I'm amazed from the start when I know that you're coming on a guest for our show, right? I've not got over with your bio, athlete in 3 different sports, and then followed by a performer. I mean, oh my God. And you play so many music instruments. I mean, you are like a one-man military in terms of, athletics and music. And I'm so amazed. And thank you so much for joining us amidst your busy schedule. Thank you so much, Eileen.
Yeah, thank you as well. You've done a lot of preparation as well. So thank you to that too. Yeah.
Right. And I would like to really, to all our viewers out here, thank you for joining us. And I would like to really say, to make this session fruitful, do feel free to engage Irene with all your questions and questions that you have, and Irene will be more than happy to actually address them. So without any delays, Irene, maybe a bit of yourself and your journey behind your current success.
Okay. Well, you actually introduced quite a bit already. So let me see. Okay. So yes, my name is Eileen. Yes, I'm now currently a violin teacher and a performer. How I even got to that stage was, yes, I started as a child in gymnastics, track and field, springboard diving. Then I went into university. I went to university both locally as well as overseas. I went to Chicago College of Performing Arts as well. Then after that, when I came back, I went into NIE. So I got a certification through from the Ministry of Education to teach. So when I taught at St. Nicholas, I taught at RJC, Raffles Junior College, as well as St. Teresa's Convent. But of course, being a high achiever, I couldn't stop there, right? So I also got accreditation for being to be a coach, athletics coach, by the International Athletic Federation. I'm also an international technical official. That means a judge for both diving as well as gymnastics, accredited again by the international federations. I was also a sports performance manager from when I was with the Singapore Sports Council, now Singapore Sport SG. And well, as a sports performance manager, we basically, do some planning for the sports association, so to ensure that there is good developmental upbringing for the athletes with required funding. Then after that, I also went into venue operations manager, where I did venues operations for AYG, the Asian Youth Games, Youth Olympic Games, as well as ESPN. Then the second last stop was I became a communications manager, where I did strategic comms with SSC, and I did relationship manager as well with the Singapore Workforce Development Agency. So yeah, it's been quite a long journey. So after that, I decided, hey, I want to be an entrepreneur. I'm not going to be employed anymore. So I came out and do on my own. I started Teach a Life for Life. So Teach a Life for Life, that was in 2014, where I started to share about life lessons learned through sports and music. So to actually launch Teach a Life for Life, I wrote a book, a self-help book, and created original music that sings about life lessons learned. And the Teach Your Life for Life was actually a pretty good launch, because that was the launch that launched me out as no longer a sports person, but as a violin teacher and a performer. Then after that, I decided, hey, this is not enough. So I started doing setting up social causes, like, for example, Strings for Kindness, 3M Music Collective. Strings for Kindness is a collaboration with Singapore Kindness Movement as well as NVPC. 3M Music Collective is actually an initiative about mental health, where I collaborated with quite a number of local artists. Yeah. So I guess we can talk about the rest a bit more later. So in a nutshell, yeah, that is what I have been doing.
Eileen, I think about it, right? For me, when I think about all these achievements, right? If somebody not tell you I've never seen your photo, I'll be expecting a 70-year-old or 60-year-old lady with the number of achievements you've done, because it's like, how do you actually manage to do so many things? Just being an athlete in a single sport, it's one thing. You are like doing so many sports, so many activities, and even after your athletics days, now you are, you have so many stuff done, and then right now you are in the music scene, right? So where do you get this energy?
Where do I get this energy?
Yes.
To tell the truth, I guess to get the energy, most of the time you have to be more of an extrovert, because to do all these things, you do need to face people. If you don't face people, you don't meet up with people, you don't network, it will be quite difficult to get things through, because you always need people to help you. You need to collaborate with people. So you need to more be an extrovert to actually get things done. But I'm actually quite an introvert. So where do I get the energy? The energy comes from, I guess, well, like this program is called LifeWorks. It's all about how you actually drive through your passion. So I guess it's the passion that I've always been thinking about, what I love to do. So how do I get there? So it's more of thinking through, planning, what are the things that I need to do, my milestones, reach it, then the next step, reach it, then the next step, without thinking about, without having all the distractions of, oh, actually, I'm afraid of seeing this person. Oh, actually, I'm afraid of doing this. No, I block all these out, put in all my energy, get the plan done, and take it one step at a time to reach my milestones, to get to the goal of achieving my, getting where I am.
Cool. No, the reason why I asked you this question is because just the first 5 minutes, the amount of energy you have, right? Amazing, right? To talk about it, sometimes the question is, after having a long days at work and teaching your students, and you are here at about 8 p.m. and then you still have that kind of energy that anyone would have in the morning, right? So it's something that I felt. Oh, and yes, Iskandar.
Hi, Iskandar. I guess I guess the energy bounces off as well because you have a lot of energy as well. So it's actually easy to feed off the energy from one another. So that helps as well. So thanks to you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I guess that's why you say always, mix around with the positive and like-minded people, right? So you can find that there's
Yeah,
a
it
lot
does
of,
help.
yeah. And I'm going to go into another, indulge into all the rest of the list that I've not said. So,
Yes,
so
it's a long list.
Eileen, you started training in China and won your first medal in an overseas competition a year later, all right? And I guess this was about what, when you were 9 years old? When you started
So
training in China? Yeah, it's about
I started
9.
training in 9. Yeah, yeah.
9 years
Then,
old. And then,
yeah.
yeah, sorry. And then you clinched the bronze medal at SEA Games at age 13. At 15, you broke the national age group 100 meters hurdles record. And 2 years later, you won a gold at the Asia Pacific Diving Championship. And age 27, you broke the 100 meters hurdles record that was unbroken for 30 years. Now, the reason why, as I said, there's a whole list of things that I can go on. Now, what was the experience being a national athlete since your young age with so much that you have performed?
What is the experience? I'm always a positive person. So I would definitely say it has been great. Of course, anybody would know whatever that you're doing, like an athlete or musician or entrepreneur, there will always be ups and downs. But we must always look at the positive side. So I'm going to say it has been great. Great. Why? Because I find that being a national athlete, it has helped me in many ways. First of all, it has helped build resilience in me. As an athlete, you're faced with the media glare, especially when you're such a young child. Back then, especially as a gymnast, the journalists are always calling you up for this and that, and you're always there to actually respond. And they are, as a child, it's quite fun, but there is still the media glare that you actually have to manage. And of course, there are strong competitors as well that you actually have to keep in mind. Well, because as a young child, the reason why I wanted to go to China to train at that point in time, because I realized if I wanted to win a gold medal at the Southeast Asian Games, there's no way at the way I was training back home. Don't get me wrong, the coaches back then in Singapore, they are very dedicated. But I guess my level of performance was actually overreaching their level of coaching. So I actually had to go to China to train. So that's why I wanted to go to China to train to actually to improve in my skills. But of course, then there was also the physical and mental injuries that I have to cope. But with all these, the journey that was very difficult, but it has helped me to build up a resilient mind. How? Because I learned to fight on. I've learned that I should never give up. Whatever that I've started, I must see it through. The other thing that I also learned is that if I want to be successful at a point in time, I have to learn to be focused on my task. Because when you are training in China, there's so many things that are going on. You have no idea what's happening as well. Like you see somebody being scolded quite intensely, and but you still have to manage your injuries, and there's so many distractions that will actually just put a negative thought in your mind, and that's it. So I actually have to block out all these negative thoughts and focus on my task at hand to actually train well. So definitely being an athlete, what I've learned is definitely to be focused on the task at hand so that it leads me to success. The other thing that I've learned to be more empathetic, especially because of my training in China. Empathy means that you put yourself in the shoes of another person. The athletes that were in China, because of gymnastics, as a gymnast, you have to start training at a very young age. So many of the kids were from the villages and they are there all alone without their parents. And it's quite difficult for them to actually travel back to their village as well because it's so far. So I imagine myself in their shoes and I said, wow, this is really tough because if they don't make it in sports, their future will be quite bleak. But for myself, if anything doesn't go right, I can still go back to Singapore and be in the arms of my mom. So when I think of this as a 9-year-old, I start to realize, oh, I'm a very lucky kid. So I start to develop empathy and love for other people. But definitely, all these are the great stuff, right, that I've learned. But definitely, without denying, I was very lonely. gymnastics is quite a lonely sport in a sense that you can train on your own without any teammates, unlike a team sport. So all my friends were all back in Singapore, all studying in Singapore, but I was there alone training. So because of the loneliness and the things that I saw when I was training there, it did affect my mental health because when you're lonely there and you see things and you have no idea what to make out of it, your psychosocial development is affected. And as a child, being parents, I guess we have parents in the audience. Being parents, I guess you will know that in order for a child to be developed well, you need to develop the psycho and social, emotional part of it as well. So that part of it was a bit affected when I was growing up. So yeah, it affected my mental health a little bit when I grew up to become an adult. But having said all this, everything is good now because I sought help for my mental health condition, and I'm now so good, and definitely more good things to come. Yeah, so and my experience as an athlete, national athlete, well, it has been great. I have built resilience. I know that succeed, I need to focus. I develop empathy, but yeah, loneliness, but I overcame it.
But and I believe, Eileen, I think all the thing about you said about the resilience and so on. I think all these factors has actually helped you along these years, even when you are not doing sports in any other things in your life journey. I believe that these factors, these values, and these learning lessons has stayed on with you.
Yes, definitely has stayed on with me. Especially, actually, the very fact that I went through a mental health, I went through a depression period. Because of my resilient mind, I managed to get out pretty fast. But having said that, it's definitely not easy. I don't deny that anybody who goes through depression, it's not an easy journey. You definitely need the help of other people around you. It's not just your own effort trying to get out of it, but you also need the help from the doctors, the people who loves you, your caregivers, or even for some people might be spiritual help as well. Yeah. So, but definitely having a resilient mind has definitely helped me a lot to pull through some of the down times that I went through, and many of us have gone through.
All right. And we have a question for you, but before that, we'll just say hi to some of our guests. Of course, Peisha.
Oh, Peisha, hi.
Yes. Yeah, I'm gonna take this time to actually thank Peisha, for connecting me with Eileen, and to have this lady here, energetic lady, high performer, to be here on our show. So thank you, Peisha. And of course, we have Reka. Hi, Reka. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Reka.
And yes. And we have a question from Iskandar himself. Now, what will be a good balance between pushing our children to succeed and yet giving them space to grow?
I have a daughter and he's pushing. Oh, well, why I can nothing is simple, right? But why I do not have kids, but I have students that I've been teaching for almost 10 years. And from that point of view, I find that the most important thing is to give time. And definitely, we were just conversing just now. If I myself have a child, I probably would not have my child go through what I went through. I definitely will not have them go into gymnastics, into sports. But that's my opinion. That's only because I find that in order to succeed, we need to actually put in a lot of time and effort. And sometimes, most of the time for kids nowadays, they are bombarded with so much of things now, social media, schoolwork. I mean, now with the COVID-19, it's definitely not easy for them. So we do need to actually give them time for themselves as well. I know it's not easy to find that balance, but definitely not only to give them time to rest, but also give them time to understand what is happening. Yeah, so I guess to simply respond to this question is really to take time and give time. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, Iskandar, hope we are going to talk a bit on how you can actually get the balance later, Iskandar, but I hope this answers it. So the important thing is, give more time. Iskandar, if this answers your question, just give us a thumbs up. Right. And now let's go into the other side, right? Your passion as a violin performer and a teacher.
Yeah.
I can't, I can imagine you being an athlete. You were actually a gymnast, a springboard diver, and then, now you are a violin performer and a teacher. So maybe you can talk about your present role as a violin performer and teacher.
Okay. When I first started to become a violin teacher full time, I having gone through teaching from the Ministry of Education, and then left and then started to do on my own. I already knew that I didn't want to just be a violin teacher that teaches technique. The thing is, because ever since young, at 9 years old, I already decided that I want to go to China to train. When I was so I already try to make I'm already thinking in a very different way, thinking out of the box, thinking that if I want to get to this stage, what must I do? So for me, if I want to let people know that here Eileen Chai is no longer a sports person, she's going to be a violin teacher, she's going to be a violin performer. So what will set me apart from the other violin teachers, from the other musicians? So I actually really have to think through. But what I knew is that I love playing the violin. So, and I also know that I want to give to a lot of my students as well. So when I started to become a violin teacher, I told myself, okay, I'm going to be a unique violin teacher. I'm not just going to teach violin skills. I'm going to share about life lessons learned as well. That was how I started Teach Your Life for Life. But over the years, I also evolved. Every one of us evolved to become better or just of a different change. So I realized I don't no longer want to just share about life lessons learned. I also want to, help students to understand what is love, help students to communicate better, help students to foster empathy and resilience. So because of these things, I actually started another a project called Music Sparkle SG to actually focus on these things: love, communication, empathy, as well as resilience. So that sets me apart from the other violin teachers as well. So that is what I'm doing now. So what exactly do I do during violin lessons then? So usually when a child comes in for a lesson, when my students come in for a violin lesson, the first thing that I'll actually do is to ask them, hey, how was your day? What do you do during recess time? Did your teacher actually comment on something nice? So I get them to actually start talking to me. And I'll actually observe how they actually speak to me. Do they make eye contact? Do they smile? Or are they feeling very frustrated? So then I get them to tell their story. And from the story, I'll then actually try to use it into the pieces that are playing. So for example, if let's say that they didn't have a very good day that day, the teacher actually scolded her. And so happened that if they are actually playing a very sad piece, so then I actually try to get the emotions from her. When you were feeling sad, how did it feel? Did you feel like your hair was rising? Or if your hair was rising when you're actually playing on the violin, can you try to actually make it happen? So this is what I actually do during lesson time. So that's what I'm doing as a violin teacher now. As a violin performer, same thing. When I first started, I was also asking myself, if I want to let people know that, hey, I'm coming out as a violin performer now, how can I be different? There are already violinists playing in band, so that's really nothing really special. So, but I also knew that before I started doing full-time violin performer, I was already doing performance. So, but when I was performing, I was using backing tracks to perform. But over time, as you are using more and more backing tracks, you want to actually do something new. You want to create your own stuff. So I started to create my own music. But how to do that when I do not know how to use music softwares? So I then started to observe how guitarists create music on their own. So they were using the electronic pedals, the gadgets. So I started, can I use it on the violin? So I started to invest in gadgets, buying all these things, and I started to do live looping on my violin. And I was able to actually create on my music on my own. And I became the first violinist in Singapore to actually create original music using live looping, including singing it. Because when I first started, I was singing about life lessons learned. So so I launched myself as a violin performer through that. But over the years, I actually had quite a number of performances as well as giving talks. That was all good. Now, of course, until COVID-19 came, everything stopped. But blessings, we went online. So for my students' performance week, we always have been doing annually. So last year, our annual concert was online. I also have another social cause called Strings for Kindness. Strings for Kindness is where kids comes together to play in a string ensemble to bring kindness to the community through music. So their performance was also online. Then I also created another social cause, which is called 3A Music Collective, where we collaborated with 27 artists of different ethnicity, different age groups, and we created 10 songs of different genres of music. So actually let people listen, for people to give hope and show empathy to people with troubled minds. So we actually did that, and we were actually very lucky, very fortunate that the National Council of Social Service collaborated with 3M Music Collective with the support of National Youth Council for us to actually perform at the Beyond the Label Festival last year, which is about which focuses on creating awareness on mental health to remove the stigma around it. So the current performances now has all been online, and towards the end of the year, there's one more online one, but that might be a physical performance as well, and some more talks coming up too. So this is what I'm doing now for violin performance. So more online, less physical performances, but still continue to give some talks.
And in fact, I would like to also share that our title for this talk, right, is Enjoy the Ride. And I was inspired by this when I was checking out Eileen's videos, and I saw that the violin looping video that was composed by you, right, and the title was Enjoy the Ride. And when I saw that, it's like, wow, it's the best title I can think of. In fact, you never let me think much. It's like, wow, and the reason why it was the title, and it was actually composed by you. So for those of you, if you have the time, just check out, go to YouTube, or you can check out on Eileen's LinkedIn in the, I think just not quite long ago, where she actually put up the video on a LinkedIn post as well. It's violin something unique, really, definitely. And now let me just give you another list of what Eileen has done as a violin performer. All right, now this is amazing. She has performed with Tayo Irvine Hendrix, the daughter of legendary guitarist Jimi Hendrix. And the first thing when I talked to Eileen, I asked her, it's like, Eileen, how did you manage to do that, right? It's like performing on the stage with the daughter of a legend. And that was one. And of course, with that, you played violin in the opening ceremony of the BNP Paribas, Women's Tennis Association finals at the indoor stadium. And not long ago, 2018. And you performed for former President Mr. Tony Tan at the President's Volunteerism and Philanthropy Award. And again, I put it down here. The list goes on and on and on with all your performances. So, Eileen, before I go to the next question, I just want to say hi to a few of our guests who have said hi. Hi, Emeritus. Hi. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, Emeritus.
Yeah, and we have Raghu. Hi, Raghu. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Raghu.
Yeah, and of course, we have a thank you from Iskandar that came in a while ago. Isabel's going to thank you for that balance and give her more time. So,
I saved your daughter.
Yeah, she better be grateful to you, right? Going to the next question, I just want to know what inspired you. At 9, you were in China. At 13, you were getting awards for your gymnastics, and then all the 100-meter hurdles and so on. Now, where did you have the time? And what inspired you to start learning violin at your younger age?
What inspired me to start learning at a young age for violin? To tell the truth, I started learning the violin at 4 years old. But at 4 years old, I did learn a lot of other things like ballet, piano, art. What else? Am I missing? Oh, gymnastics, of course. And Chinese dance. So I did learn quite a number of things. Violin was definitely one of them. But soon after, just a few months later, I actually stopped everything except for gymnastics as well as ballet. The reason being because my coaches then were saying that I have talent in it and I should put more time in it. That's why I stopped everything. My violin, just a short little one. When I had my last lesson with my violin teacher was actually very sad. And sometimes even when my own students, sometimes they leave for various reasons, I also feel very sad. So I could imagine how my violin teacher felt at that point in time. Oh, okay, but back to the question. So I did pick up at 4 years old, but because of sports I stopped. Then I picked it up again when I went into the university. How I picked up again at university, because at that point in time, after I stopped sports, I was very lost, because your entire life has been sports. You eat sports, you sleep sports, you wake up, you do sports. Everything was sports. So I didn't have any time else to do other things. So when suddenly I was no longer doing sports, I was really lost for the time when I was in junior college. Then when I went to university, one day I passed by the Center for the Arts at National University of Singapore. And what I heard was sound of music. Entire orchestra was actually having a rehearsal at the Center for the Arts. So I opened the door and I saw, wow, so many people. It's like everybody was so happy. It's like, and the conductor was like having fun with them. I was also very happy to see that, because I wasn't very sociable at that point in time, because I've always been very lonely. I do not know how to mix with friends. Didn't have much social skills, so I was always on my own. So when I saw so many people having fun, I was like, yeah, that will be it. I'm going back to violin. I'm going to tell the conductor, please teach me violin. I want to get my grade 8 within a year. So I did that lah. So I got my grade 8 within a year, so that I could actually join the NUSO, which is NUS Symphony Orchestra, and I eventually did join the Singapore National Youth Orchestra as well. So that was how I actually started going into violin. Then from then, I started to do a lot of improvisation on my own, because when you love something, you want to do something with it, right? So when you listen to radio and I started to improvise, whoa, very fun. I could feel all my skin standing, my hair standing, and it's like you can feel every little heartbeats that is pounding through your heart. I really love that feeling. So I continued to play. Then eventually I wanted to become a violin teacher. So eventually I set myself a target, put my focus there, and I got my diploma for violin performance. Yeah, so that was how I started violin.
Well, amazing.
Then I guess you're
yeah. that's what I call it.
But it came with a lot of sacrifices, though. I literally locked myself at home for 6 hours every day, including Sundays, just to practice. Yeah, good and bad, I must say. If I'm a parent, I won't allow my child to do that anymore, because I think there's more life to it. But definitely you achieve, but at a sacrifice. So I'm not sure whether parents nowadays will allow that. If I'm a parent, I definitely would discourage. Yes, you get your grade 8, but give more time.
But I don't know whether if this question is going to be contradicting with what you shared. But again, what are the factors that help you to arrive to the success that you are today? I mean, we did that, right? Well, of course, parents don't lock your kids for 6 hours every day. That's it. Done. But what's the advice in terms of how do you arrive to where? What are the key factors? I mean, resilience definitely is one. And what I've noticed is the fact that you once you set your mind into something, you give all out and you're committed to that. Anything else, or you want to just touch on that a bit more?
Definitely. This answer is actually quite close to my heart, because these are the things that I always remind my students. Stay focused. If you are going to take your exams, you have to stay focused, because nowadays there are so many I must say nowadays students are going through a lot of stress, unlike our days. I definitely feel for them. So every time when they actually come for lesson and they are not very well prepared, I usually don't scold. I ask a question first. How much time do you have to practice? What are you facing this week? Do you have a lot of essays, and all that? So then when they tell me that, then I'll just let go a little bit and see what we can do during lesson time. So definitely have to stay focused. So on what we have to do. Like you are going to take exams, you stay focused on the exams. You have other priorities, yes, but stay focused on that. So that's one thing. Second thing is we also must learn to take time to rest, definitely, because our mind needs to regenerate. So if we have to sleep at 10 o'clock, we have to stop practicing, we have to stop doing our lesson, doing our homework, probably push it another half an hour, and then we have to go to sleep. Yeah, rest is so important, because if the next day you don't feel fresh, you can't function well. You probably start getting very stressed, you start to scold people, you start to feel bad about yourself, negative thoughts starts coming in, and then you're not happy with the teacher, you start to scold the teacher. I don't know, I'm just thinking out loud, but definitely you need time to rest. There's no joke. Then thirdly, stay humble.
Okay.
Yeah, because from what I do see, whatever success that we have achieved, like let's say with what I've done, it's not just my own achievements. It's a lot of effort from the people around you. Just like for just for this talk that we are having now. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be on your program. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be so prepared with the answering the questions, because you did a lot of work for me already with the preparation. Yeah, so it's not just your own effort. It's really around the people around you, and for some probably it's spiritual help as well. So that's why stay humble. So for me, actually, there are three factors to success. Is really to focus on your task at hand, take time to rest, as well as to stay humble.
Right. And I also got to learn from you. Stay humble. It's not just me. There are a lot of other people behind the backstage who have helped me to make sure that you have a good one. So I can't take all the credit as well. Now we got a couple of questions.
Iskandar.
Iskandar is definitely one of them. And okay, hi Dana. Thank you for joining us. And we have a question. We have a lot of parents, I think, with us. We have Manitas asking here, now what's your process for dealing with kids with performance anxiety? How do you inspire children to play instrument?
Okay, for the first question, performance anxiety, I myself have extreme performance anxiety. It takes a lot. As much as I enjoy performing because I enjoy giving. That is what drives me, because I enjoy giving. I enjoy bringing a smile. I enjoy putting a smile on somebody's face when I perform. But to get to the stage to perform, I have a lot of performing anxiety, and that takes up a lot of my energy actually. So what I do to cope, and that is what I actually do share with my own students as well, is visualization. Visualization is what you think through what you need to do. It's just like playing a videotape in your mind. Okay, the first thing in the morning, that's what I'm going to do, is to wake up, brush my teeth. I will prepare to practice my violin. Then let's say your performance at 12. So what's the next step? I already prepared my clothes, so I know what's going to happen. I wear my clothes. I make sure that I have called my taxi, or I know what MRT rides to take on, that I should be there early, like one hour earlier. Make sure I have all my gadgets ready, then I go there. Then once I'm there, I already start to imagine, okay, I go to the ladies first, make sure I'm comfortable, make sure I have all my makeup on. Then I will visualize that I'm going to go to the sound booth to introduce myself to the sound engineer. Yeah, you can see I'm already visualizing all these things every time when I'm performing. So I'll introduce myself, then I'll let the sound engineer knows what I'm going to do, what are the things that I need, my technical rider. Then I will put my equipments down, make sure I know who are the people around me. One of the things to avoid one of the things to actually feel good when you have performance anxiety is to know what's going on, the awareness around you. So I always look around who is around, make sure you smile at them, make sure they make you feel comfortable. Then you step on stage, make sure you already tune your violin, and then you look around, you test the mic and all that. So these are the things that I will actually do to help with my performance anxiety. And how you do that is to visualize. Yeah, so visualization is a very powerful tool, but we cannot just do it one time. It takes years to actually make it good. So if I'm not familiar with Marita, so if Marita's child has performing anxiety, or she knows of somebody's kid who has performance anxiety, probably introduce them to visualization. I'm sure you can Google and find it quite in one of the in many websites.
Yeah.
But definitely takes time. So if the first time doesn't work, keep trying. It will get better. I've been doing it since I was 7 years old. So yeah, it does help. Yeah, so the next question is, how do you inspire children to play instrument? Actually, this is a very tricky question. The child first needs to like to play the instrument. No kidding. I think the first step is the child needs to like it. If the child in the first place doesn't like it, give them time. Don't push it. Hey, learn this instrument. I think really need to give them time. Maybe 1 year later, they might suddenly say, hey, I decided that I want to pick up the instrument now. Yeah, you never know. Yeah, but we really can't push it. But let's say if the child says, okay, yes, today I want to learn and pick up the violin. But violin, I must say, is not easy. So usually when the first time the child comes in, the child actually realizes, oh, violin is so difficult.
Touching on this question, right? Sometimes it's also good. I don't know, just to suggest, it's good for the child to sometime to choose the instrument that they are comfortable in their life, right? I mean, does that also happen along the years? Like, they may be exposed to piano, to violin, and some or other they just love the piano for whatever reason. There's a certain chemistry. That could be also a case of, would it be good to expose them to a few instruments to let them see what they love?
Yeah, definitely. So usually when I have a friend, let's say for example, I have a friend who actually calls me out, hey, my child might be interested in learning an instrument, but I have no idea why do I let them learn? Just go to a toy store, let them try out all those plastic toys first. Right, and because they are cheap and good. I mean, Daiso has them as well. The drums, toy pianos, the toy violin, even ukulele. Right, so you can actually buy them first and then let them try out. Yeah, and see what they like. And they might not even like any one of them. Maybe they like singing. Right. So let them be exposed. First step, really let them be exposed to other instruments first before pushing them into one instrument. But definitely once they have picked up an instrument, what I've seen is that for any instruments, it takes about 3 years before they actually finally know whether they like the instrument. At least through my experience, I find that it's about 3 years. It takes time. So the first 3 years, if they find it, actually I can actually move on, then that's good. Then you pass the hurdle, the first 3 years hurdle. But if after 3 years, the child actually really don't feel right with the instrument, I would usually recommend, that's for me, I would usually recommend them to actually maybe either change teacher or change to another instrument.
Right. Thanks. And Marita, if this answers your question, just give us a thumbs up. And we have another question. As I said today, it's more of all the parents to meet, Miss Eileen Chai session, right? We have one more on gymnastics. Hi, Dana. Now her question is, when you are in a gymnastic academy, there are sufficient training facilities and equipment for the child. However, at home, there are no professional equipment. So how can my child train and improve, even though there are no training equipment at home?
Okay, so I'm not sure which whether her child is a boy or a girl.
I think it's a
girl. Okay. So let's say if it's a girl, actually it's quite easy. I mean, not say quite easy. Sorry, it's a little bit easier because there are only four apparatus compared to male gymnast. So for 4 apparatus, you have floor. You can just get mat. You can actually buy online. It's going to be a bit of an investment though. So you just need to put a mat maybe right in front of the TV. I'm actually sharing this because this was what I went through. My mom bought me a gymnastic mat, placed it right in front of the TV. So what do? Every Sunday, I will watch my favorite cartoon while doing V-sits. And I'll be doing conditioning exercises. So I'll be doing 100 V-sits times 10 sets in front of the TV. So I'm training, and I'm actually developing core muscles. So very effective because I'm enjoying it and watching my favorite shows. Then for balance beam, my mom actually went to the construction site to pick up a wood. Then she wrapped it round with cloth and another plastic, and she put it on the sofas. And then I have a balance beam. And to tell the truth, it was at home that I learned how to do a back somersault. And I became the first gymnast in Singapore to do a back somersault and balance beam at my own home. So yeah, so we have to improvise a bit, but make sure that the wood is strong enough, definitely. Then for Ivan bars, will be a little bit tough, but the thing is, for Ivan bars, we can always do conditioning exercises to actually build up our arm muscles. You can, use heavy water bottles or buy dumbbells for free weights to actually do exercises. And there are so many websites out there where, first of all, I guess you actually have to seek for advice from the coach. What are the muscles that the gymnast needs to build up? And then maybe search online what are the conditioning exercises that they need to do. There will be ways, but some time and investment probably is required to create the environment at home, and probably do some research work. What are some of the conditioning exercises that they can do at home? Yeah, and that was how I spent my Sundays actually, training at home.
So
I hope that helps though.
Yeah, so Dara, I know from Eileen, now you know that your daughter is going to do a lot of exercises while watching TV. I mean, that's one of the first steps to start, right? But
Yeah.
Dara, if this answers your question, just give us a thumbs up so that all right, okay, that answers it. Thank you so much, Dana. And we actually have feedback from Marites to thank you. I think she thanked you for the answering a question previously. So thank you, Marites, and we wish you all the best that your daughter, wants to pick up either guitar and violin. And right now we have Eileen here, so I'm sure she will be inspired by what Eileen has done.
Yeah, actually, guitar and violin is a very good combination. It's good.
Yeah, and so just to move on, how do you keep your passion alive? As I said, energy level. Energy level comes because you love something, the desire, the passion. But how do you manage to keep this passion alive?
How do I keep the passion alive? It's not easy, but what I always tell myself is that the first question that we must always ask ourselves is, why are we doing it in the first place? So for me, why I do it is because I know I came from a very fortunate family, from a fortunate background. So right from the start, when I was in university, I already knew that I wanted to make people happy. As easy as that. Every time when I feel down, I just remind myself, back in the university days, I even told my friends around me that I want to make people happy. And some of my friends actually laugh at me, ha ha ha, how are you going to do that? I remember that moment. We were all in lab coats because I was doing microbiology. We were all like, and laugh at me, ha ha. Yeah, but every time when I feel down, when something gets tough, or when anxiety attacks me, or I feel depressed, I always remind myself that the reason why I'm doing all these things is because I want to make people happy. And to make people happy, how do I do it? Is through the medium of music. And music is something which I love, and that will actually and that gives me a lot of feelings, gives me a lot of emotions to actually continue to drive me to where I want to go. And where I want to go is to continue with the social causes that I've been doing, Streams for Kindness, 3M Music Collective. Actually, I just started another one, which is called Music Sparkle SG, which is about what I mentioned just now, to understand love, communicate better, resilience, empathy. But it's not only just that. I'm actually going to start writing a music book that will be very positive for families and kids. And when we create a new project and we still need to sustain the current project, it's never easy. That's why I keep reminding myself also, and also advise to other people, that whatever we do, we must always take time to rest, because the journey is not just, okay, that's it, time time's up, we are done, no more, yeah, then we stagnate. No, that's not the way, because we still want to enjoy life. We still want to be able to go out there, go to the cafe and enjoy the friendship of other people, but yet we still need to keep our passion running with all the social causes, at least for me, social causes that I'm still running. So definitely need time to rest and all that. So where do I get the energy? Is to remind myself why I started in the first place, is to make people happy.
Yeah, it's the clarity of the why and the purpose of why you started in the first place, right? Right. Now,
correct.
The next question is more in line to what we just talked about or what you just covered. What advice do you have, for viewers or others out there who are looking to live their life with passion? I'm talking about maybe an example, things that they always wanted to pursue. Is there any specific advice you want to give them?
I actually give a similar talk on passion on a TEDx youth talk. So in a nutshell, I also can see that we're running a bit out of time. In a nutshell, the first step I feel that is, first of all, you need to know what your passion is. And this again takes time. It takes time because you need to try out different things we need to try out different things in our lives. It's not just, oh, I tried out this one, yeah, I like it. Yeah, that's the thing that is my passion. No, it doesn't work this way. It's really about trying out different things, because you never know. One passion could actually be intertwined with another one, and then you can combine it, you can integrate it, right? Just like how music is integrated with teaching, how a lot of things can be integrated to actually make the passion even more exciting. So first of all, we need to take time to find out, try out new things, but every time when we try out new things, there will always be challenges. So we must embrace it, and if it strikes a chord, that's good. Right. Then the second step, once you found your passion, is see what exactly does the society needs and what can you give. Because like example now, what the society needs is really to talk about mental health. That's why at that point in time, I started the 3M Music Collective. So it's a trendy thing now to talk about mental health, to do things about mental health. But if you are going to do something about mental health, make sure the product is make sure the product can actually shine through. Make sure it's unique enough, because like our project for the 3M Music Collective, no one, I can safely say, no one in the world actually has done it, because of the 10 songs. The 10 songs actually talks about the emotional, psychological journey of a person who is going through a mental health condition. And there is a violin that runs through all the 10 songs, and this violin actually represents a person going through a mental health condition. And it's actually performed by different artists of different genres, ethnicity, as well as age group. So it becomes a very unique product. That's why it was able to shine through. So yes, find out what the society needs, but we must also see exactly what can you give. So can you give it through music? Can you give it through sports? Or can you give it through public speaking, right? So that's the second thing. See what the society needs. What can you give? The third thing is, once you have made a decision, this one is very important, and this is something which is not easy. When the going gets tough, we have to see it through, because the outcome will be very beautiful. Yeah, so three things. Take time to try something new. See what the society needs and what you can give. And thirdly is, once you have made a decision, see it through.
Yeah, I like the third one, definitely. I mean, this is something that I strongly believe in, see through, because it's a commitment that we make for ourselves, right? So
correct. And not only for ourselves, but to other people who are involved as well.
Well, why would you want to deprive the good things that you can offer to the world by just not seeing it through?
Correct.
So thanks, Eileen. We have a question. We have a question from Khalil. Hi, Eileen. It says a lot that you greet the sound text before a performance. Now, what sort of music do you listen? And have you discovered any new music or artists recently to recommend?
Okay. I know. Thanks for this, Khalil. Well, it's not just the sound tech people, right? So the thing is, when you see people, you want to bring a smile to people. So you just go and say hello, right? So so it's a nice thing to do, and it makes people happy, and makes yourself happy too. So that's good. As for the music part, what sort of music do I listen to? I'm more inclination towards listening to ambient music. Think is quite a bit of ambient as well. But I do listen to some hard rock as well, like Temptations.
Okay.
But have I discovered any new music of artists lately? Recently I just started to listen to David Ododa. He has one music called All Alone. The lyrics can be quite sad, but the music is so beautiful. The music is so beautiful. Yeah, maybe you can actually go and listen to his songs. But I'll also be listening to quite a number of many other ambient songs as well as spiritual songs too, just to uplift the mood. But of course, 3M Music Collective Music as well. They are all on Spotify.
Khalil, before you start anything, the first music that is recommended to you is to listen to, the 3M songs.
3M Music Collective.
Yes. That's the best recommendation that we will give you for now. Thanks, Khalil. Give us a thumbs up if you think that answers the question. And thank you for the question, Khalil. Now, of course, as I said, time just runs, right?
Yeah.
At the start, I always realize that in any live chat, when we are going on and on, we realize, wow, time has just passed. So what I have a surprise for you is we're going to have a rapid questions round. All right.
Okay.
So I'm going to just shoot the questions, and Eileen, you're going to just answer them, right? And are you ready?
Okay. Rapid question, here comes.
So Eileen, what do you want to be remembered for?
I want to be remembered for being a violin teacher who gives love through music.
Okay, all right. And
as
the legacy, but simple, but very potent, right? And what's the legacy that you want to leave behind?
Legacy is about people still remembering you. So because I'm going to write the book, right? So I hope that book will be quite a legacy, because I'm hoping that book to be impactful for parents as well as kids. So I'm hoping that to be a legacy.
And that's your second book,
but
right?
I cannot. That will be a second book, but I can't share much more yet. Sorry.
No worries. When the book is out, during one of the live shows, I will specifically show it to the audience and say, this is Eileen's new book. So guys, you should go out there and purchase one, right? Okay. So
I will take about another year.
No worries. We'll be around.
Okay.
And what do you see Eileen Chai in 5 years' time?
5 years. 5 years. 5 years. 1 year is already quite long. 5 years even longer though. Especially with this COVID. Okay, 5 years is I'm already starting to teach online. So that means not just my local students, but also international students. Like I have students from Germany, I have students from the States. So I'm hoping that 5 years down the road, I will have more online students. That means I have more outreach internationally through my teaching.
All right.
Yeah.
And your biggest challenge?
My biggest challenge. My biggest challenge is because I'm a doer. So when you have an idea, right, you just want to do, right? So I sometimes have to pull myself back. So my biggest challenge is to identify what to let go.
Okay.
Sometimes really not easy, and sometimes you really need to learn how to prioritize and prioritize what is important to you and for other people, and then let go of the rest. So that is not easy to identify sometimes. So that's my biggest challenge actually.
All right. And Eileen, with the whole list of achievements that you have, now what would you say is your greatest achievement?
Actually, to me, the greatest achievement would be to know what to let go.
Okay, that's something that will be what you're working towards. But what have you achieved so far that you think that, wow, this is it?
Actually, it's something very simple. When a parent actually messages me and say, "Hey, thanks for making a difference in my child's life."
Oh, wow. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
yeah.
think
So, although I must say, as teachers, we should not be actually seeking for these affirmations. But sometimes, when you are going through a lot of workload and all that, sometimes a message, ping, it comes in like this. It does make a lot of difference for your day. Yeah. So, yeah, for me, actually, I find that that's the biggest achievement. After going through so many years of doing so many things, uh, and seeing all the hard work that has to be done to go through it, having an affirmation sometimes is the biggest achievement.
right. And now that you
Yeah.
highlighted this, Eileen, and now I want to talk to all the parents out there. Now, if you think your child have a tutor, a music teacher, a coach, take some time today. Just pick up your phone and say thank you and for what you have done for my kid. I think sometimes, like what Eileen said, is the small little affirmation that makes a lot of difference to the tutors or to the individuals. So thanks, Eileen. I think that's a very valid point. And I think, yes, I can't agree that could be one of the greatest achievements that any teacher could feel. Right, thank you. And Eileen, I got a good news for you. Now Pesci is also waiting for your second book. So you got a couple more people who'll be earning their when's your book coming out? and
Okay, okay, I'll let you know.
and
Oh,
Khalil,
Brian, you know, for ambient.
all right. Okay, thanks, Khalil.
Uh,
Thank you so much.
yeah, thank you, Khalil.
All right. And thank you. I think now any word of advice, Eileen, for our viewers who want to follow in your footsteps?
What's our advice is life is definitely a journey. And we can accomplish all these things, the little milestones. I mean, all these things sound so good, right? It makes me look so good. Wow, I accomplished so much. But at the end of the day, if you think about it, when you're having a meal at home, everybody's on equal status. Everybody comes home, sit at the table, hey, having a laugh, having a nice meal together. I think that is the most important thing. So to me, you can accomplish a lot. That is good. That is great. And sometimes we need that drive to actually go push through our passion. But I think the most important thing that we should do is to spend time with the people that we love. I think that is very important. And second thing is to take time to rest.
Right.
Yeah, and that is so important because in order for us to push through anything, we need time to regenerate, need time to rest. So spend time with the people we love and take time to rest.
All right, thank you. And for those of you viewers who like to reach out and know more about Eileen Chai, just feel free to check out chai360.com.sg. Now, I got a question. The last question will be mine. Why 360?
Yeah.
Why Chai 360?
Actually, I was going for another name, but I made a mistake on Accra, so I couldn't use back the name.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but then in the end, I decided to use Chai 360 because my motto in life is to give through music. So in order to give through music, it's not just your own single effort; it's really a collective collaboration effort. So Chai, yes, is my name, but the Chai came from like tea, coffee, like a cafe, right? So Chai. And 360 means is literally when you make a conversation is all around the table. So Chai 360.
Yeah, no,
Yeah. So it's a collaborative effort.
Yeah, I personally thought it's an awesome. It's quite cool, right? 560. I mean, when I saw that before explanation, it's like all around. Like what you said. It's not just
Inclusive.
individual, but it's a collective. Yeah, wow, it's awesome. So viewers out there, guys, just feel free to check out Eileen's website and do contact her if you need to talk to her, have a chat with her. Just contact her through LinkedIn and so on. Now, Eileen. 1 hour has just passed like that, so fast. Yeah, fast. And
Yeah.
seriously, I have so much questions, and I'm sure there are so many viewers who would love to have a chat with you much more. But I think, thank you so much, Eileen, for the time. And I think I had a good, awesome Thursday evening having a live chat with you today. I really enjoyed every single moment, and I loved your energy. Thank you so much, Eileen. And I really,
Thank you.
I really hope to, catch up with you in person, face to face, to have a coffee with you or chai, which we call tea,
Chai latte.
Yes, totally. So we'll catch up soon.
Yeah. Okay, and thanks to all the parents who are listening in as well. Definitely being a parent is not easy. So all the way you can do it.
All right. Thank you, Eileen. So
Yeah.
I'll catch up with you. You can just hold at the holding area and I'll catch up with you soon.
Okay, sure.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, awesome time. I mean, seriously, I felt that, I've never felt that a speaker. I mean, no disregards to all the speakers, but Eileen has been one speaker who's been like full of energy, and this is one of those live chats where I just got to sit down because I think her energy is like really explosive, awesome, right? And I think this is something that I will remember today's live chat. And thank you for all of you viewers, to join us, to ask your questions, And yes, I got still a few of you. Yes, Iskandar, thank you so much. And thank you to Eileen. I'm sure you are still listening to us. And Maritas, thank you for engaging us, and hope, whatever Eileen has shared definitely will be useful for yourself and your daughter. And all the best for your daughter on a guitar and violin. And with that, thanks, Raghu, for joining us. And thank you all for joining us. Now, before we go, I would like to just share with you all that we actually have now for us, the Bettery Hub channel, you realize that apart from the live chats that we have, we actually do have our live chats being shown, on our YouTube channel. So do feel free to go to our YouTube channel, especially when you like live chats. We have all our live chats, the past and as well as today's live chat on our YouTube channel. So do feel free to go to our Bettery Hub YouTube channel and do subscribe to our YouTube channel. And we have our live chats on our LinkedIn and our Facebook page. And of course, in the next 2 days, you will have my live chat with Eileen up on Spotify on our Bettery Hub podcast. So do feel free to go and check it out on our Spotify, or we will be actually putting up the link on our LinkedIn page. So with that, now, thank you so much once again. And I'm looking forward to meet all of you all next week. All right. And I think Thursday evenings has been one of the most awaited day for me, every week. So thank you so much once again. Now, do remember to take action and keep doing it better. And from what Eileen said, always give yourself time to achieve whatever you set out to do. So with that, till next week, see ya.